Hello, welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the love outlook for March 15th to the 22nd for the sign of Aquarius. All right, guys, now this is going to be an outlook into a connection that you have with someone. This could be a new connection, a long-term connection. It may be in a state of fruition and progress, or it may be in a state of challenge and separation. Whatever the case is, we're just going to take a look into the next week's snapshot for this connection. All right, so this is not going to resonate with everyone. All right, we're going to pull cards for your person and for you, Aquarius. So just take it as it comes to you. If this is not your situation at all, if it doesn't relate to you, then it's not for you, right? It's just not for you, and that's fine. Did most of my shuffling off camera, so we can go right into cutting your cards, Aquarius. And let's get right into it. So we have straight out your person resonating with the Hierophant, and you're resonating with death. Wow. Okay. Your person sees you as Four of Swords. You see them as a Ten of Pentacles. And they see the relationship, their part in it as a King of Swords. You see it, and your part in it as a Two of Cups. Bottom of the deck, we have an Eight of Swords. Very toxic energy, that Eight of Swords, but we're going to see how that plays into this love connection. Let me bring everything down just a little bit. All right, guys, so interesting. Two major arcana come straight out. For you both to be resonating with major arcana like this really feels like right now things are definitely happening out of your control, or to a certain degree, they seem to be very divinely led. Let's get right into it. The only cup card I see is for you at the end there in terms of how you see the relationship. And we do have a pretty hefty swords card over there at the bottom of the deck. But let's just go straight into your reading, and I'll come back to that Eight of Swords. Your person is resonating with the Hierophant, and you're resonating with death. So they are, they're all about commitment and order, the status quo, maintaining, maintaining structure, right? Maintaining order, maintaining the structure. Now, the Hierophant isn't necessarily always associated with order, but it is associated with tradition, right? And a commitment to tradition. Also a commitment to a spiritual path or a moral code, right? The Hierophant is the highest representation of our spiritual beliefs here on earth, of the divine in our spiritual beliefs. So depending on what you believe in, it's going to be different for you. For some people, the Hierophant is the Buddha. For some, it is Muhammad. For some, it is Christ. For some, it's going to be different people or different I want to say either prophets, angels, whatever, guides, right? It could just simply represent also a commitment to your faith, okay? So it doesn't necessarily have to represent a deity or a godhead, but it can just represent your commitment that you have to a particular path. And so your person is resonating strongly with this. I feel like to a certain degree, they may also be resonating with a commitment to perhaps culture and religious background. And they're maintaining that. For some reason, this is an identity that they're maintaining right now. And certainly with respect to this relationship, this is the stance that they're taking. You, however, are resonating with death, which is a complete transformation and change. Death is absolutely the annihilation of the old to make way for the new. So this, when death comes in and when you're resonating with death, that means that everything about you is shifting, transforming, and changing. Your emotional sort of capacity and wisdom, perhaps your spiritual outlook, right? Even your environment, the way you're living or the way you are perhaps the environment that you're living could be transforming and changing and shifting as well. This is a very strong sort of transformation that comes in. And although with tarot, we don't look at death as an actual physical death, it is just as formidable. The energy of this major arcana card is just as unstoppable as death is in real life. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. Well, in tarot, when it's time for death and transformation to come in, there's nothing that can stop it, right? It is its own sort of force that comes in. And so it's interesting. It's like, it almost feels to me, Aquarius, like you're saying, well, look, your person is maintaining. They may be maintaining a commitment to a certain status quo that maybe you were committed to before, but you're going through a big change. And it could be that you may even be saying to them, look, I can't help the fact that I'm changing. I can't help the fact that my outlook is changing or that my beliefs may be even changing. So this is interesting. This is definitely a it's not that the energies are bad or that either energy is bad, but they are to a certain degree at different polarities. One is about maintaining and staying the course, and the other one is about changing and shifting and moving away. So, you know, the type of energy, the polarity of the energy is really opposite right now for you two. Now, how do you guys see each other in the relation, see each other in general? So your person sees you as a Four of Swords and you see them as a Ten of Pentacles. They see you as being very sort of contemplative right now. They see that you're really weighing up a lot of options. You're thinking about a lot of things. You're trying to maintain your stability in the face of a lot of decisions or options that you have. I think they see you as being sort of very reserved right now, right? Playing your cards very close to your heart, not really talking very much with them necessarily, right? Being very introspective in a lot of ways, certainly thinking about what it is you want to do next. You know, you haven't come to a decision yet, and I think they see this. Now, you're seeing them as a Ten of Pentacles. So your person is definitely someone who offers a lot of stability, a lot of financial stability. It could be that your person is trying to get you, you know, you may have a situation here where you're dealing with somebody who has a lot more money. They may be wanting to get married. They may be wanting to sort of take the level of commitment in this relationship to a much higher level. It's interesting that you would see them as a source of full financial stability and abundance, the type of financial stability and abundance that would support a family and a union. Because the Ten of Pentacles, the difference between a Nine of Pentacles and Ten of Pentacles is the love connection, right? Nine of Pentacles is still a lot of rewards and abundance coming in, but the individual is alone. When you come together with someone, you have that love connection, that union, that commitment to move together, to move forward together. And you have that combined wealth, or you have the wealth of the whole that supports that. This is where we see Ten of Pentacles. You know, the final reward is always the reward of love. It's not the reward of something financial, even though we look at Ten of Pentacles as a sign of a lot of financial abundance. You have to understand the nature of 10, which is completion. And for anything to be complete, you always have to have the love connection, right? And so it's interesting that you would see them as this. I think that there is an opportunity here for you to be very happy with them. And I think you see that you could be very happy with them. But it feels to me like you guys may be at odds about your beliefs. You may be at odds about the outlook that you have. It could be that you're dealing with somebody who really, really feels traditional and they really want to get married, and you love them and want to be with them, and you see a happy life together with them, but maybe you don't want to get married. Maybe this is something that is very against your grain. You're changing, you know, your outlook is very different. It's certainly, if we're talking about the old and the status quo and the traditional, right, compared to youth, right? I mean, death brings with it growth and new beginnings. So this is definitely the harbinger of new ideas, new outlooks, maybe something that is even considered maybe non-traditional or controversial, right? So it's interesting. This is almost like a fundamental difference in beliefs, yet there is, for you, an understanding that you could indeed be very happy with them. How do you guys see the relationship? Well, your person, it's interesting. Here we go. Your person is seeing their part in the relationship as King of Swords, right? King of Swords, and you're seeing it Two of Cups, right? The relationship in your part is a Two of Cups. So for them, it's like their way or the highway. The King of Swords is the rule maker. He's a disciplinarian. He's the one who insists on things being a certain way, right? He's the king of strategy, the king of planning. You know, it's his idea that he's going to be following. He requires absolute honesty and loyalty. He's a severe king, but he is a severe king because he's also the king of the mind. He's the most intelligent. He's the most forward thinking. He sees his plan in action and he knows how to manifest it, right? But again, a King of Swords can also be very domineering, right? He's not going to relinquish control or power. And again, like I say, to a certain degree, he's the one who sets the rules. And so to your person is being very, very dominant on this issue. I think that they may indeed be very traditional. This may indeed be about getting married or living together or what have you. There's something going on here, and they really want it a certain way. They want it a way that follows their belief system, that follows the way they believe is the right way to conduct this relationship or this union. You see it as a Two of Cups, and you're kind of like, well, look, I would just, I just want this union to be balanced and to be fair. I want to come to this connection a certain way, and I want you to reciprocate that. And I think that for you, you're wanting a bit more balance. You may be dealing with somebody, right? Here's an example. You may be dealing with somebody who you actually love and care for, right? You have feelings for them. And you know that you could be well taken care of and happy with them. However, they may be very, very strict or orthodox in their religion, and they believe in certain things that you just don't believe in, right? They may believe in conducting a home life or a marriage in a certain way that you don't necessarily believe in. If I put it as an example, it could be one of those situations where maybe you're the woman and they're the man, and they're in a very traditional religious outlook where they say, for instance, okay, well, if you marry me, you can't work, or you have to stay home, or I'm just using a very stereotypical sort of situation, right, that we can easily see where people would disagree, right? You could still be in love with somebody like that, but not agree with the way they want the relationship to go. And this is what I feel like is going on here. You have Eight of Swords, and now the Eight of Swords begins to become clear. Look at that. You have the Hermit in reverse underneath. That's interesting. The Eight of Swords comes out, and here I begin to understand what this is. This feels very much like your person who's really, really stuck in a very sort of old school, traditional way of thinking, maybe even a very restricted idea of the world and the way the world is. And they're quite alone in this, This is generally somebody who really can't see outside their own experience and their own perspective. And it can be very difficult for them to take sort of responsibility for the fact that they're causing themselves to be alienated by their own very restricted way of looking at things or thinking of things. Seems to me, Aquarius, like you're dealing with somebody who's very old school, very stodgy, very traditional. And again, I only made that example earlier with the woman and the man. My readings are not gender specific, so it doesn't matter what gender you are, or what your sexual orientation or the nature of this relationship is. Your person, certainly Aquarius, is the one who's very domineering. They're the one who's very, very traditional. They want it to go a certain way, and I think that you're really sort of like, I want this connection with you, but I want it to be balanced and fair. And otherwise, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. And so, of course, they're seeing you not able to make a decision because you're still thinking about it. You're very, very new, and fresh, and your outlook is new and fresh. And it may even have been that when you first got together, you guys may have shared a lot of the same philosophies, but somewhere along the line, things are changing for you. You're having this sweeping transformation coming in, right? And it's like, you're like, okay, well, I see the world differently now. Even if this wasn't the position you had before, it's the position you have now. And oh, well, you have a right to change your mind, even if you agreed to sort of maybe even get married before. Maybe something really came in and changed you. Certainly death, like I said, is coming in, and it's not, it's not something that you can stop. Princess of Cups and 10 of Cups, another 10. 5 of Swords, and Prince of Swords. Wow, some more Swords energy. Okay, so there's some cups on your person's side, and I like that because there's definitely love there. And I do feel like there's love here, and I feel like you're just dealing with somebody who, they're just kind of stuck in their ways. And if they want to be with you, they're going to have to change that 10 of Pentacles again. So we've got 10 of Pentacles here. Definitely there is an aspect here about finances that is impacting this situation. Your person definitely is someone who comes from, I want to say, wealth. All right. I think they come from probably a very wealthy family. I'm going to say this feels like old money, right? And this may be something that's coming into play here, right? It may be that they are also sort of being, I want to say, pressured into taking charge or insisting that the relationship fit a certain mold, right? It could be that they're succumbing to family pressures as well. 10 of Pentacles definitely indicates this is a money. This is money. And it feels old to me. It feels like definitely family money that's probably gone back. You may be dealing with somebody who's very influential, has a high status, in society even. Princess of Cups and Ten of Cups comes in. So your person definitely, I'm going to say, is new at this. I think you may even be dealing with somebody older, Aquarius. They could certainly be somebody who's quite a bit older than you, and you just have brought such a sense of youthfulness to their life. They feel excited about this. They love this relationship. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they want you to be happy. They really just want you to be happy. Ten of Cups indicates that they have everything that they need here with you. And although this may be feeling like they're being stubborn and they're being obstinate, I wouldn't be surprised if they are maybe feeling pressure from family or from society or their culture, those around them, their social group. Nevertheless, Princess of Cups, princesses are the same as pages. There is a feeling for them of romance and youthfulness and excitement here, and they don't want to give that up. They certainly don't want to lose you. They certainly see this as a Ten of Cups, meaning that this is absolutely, this is the pinnacle for them. This is the relationship they want. They want to carry on with this. They want to hold on to it. Even if they are quite traditional or old-fashioned, they do at the same time believe in fate and destiny and love. And they do definitely believe that this relationship is meant to be. I think ultimately you will be able to win them over by just putting your foot down if it needs be, because at the end of the day, they are enamored with you, right? They're very much in love with you. They very much want to make sure that you are happy, right? Now, Five of Swords and Prince of Swords for you. So you definitely are the one who's like kind of holding the reins right now, because Five of Swords, you've been battling. You've been in a power struggle with someone. And Five of Swords is the card for defeat, but it's the card for defeat in the sense that you're like, look, I'm just sick of arguing about this. I'm not going to argue anymore about this. I'm not going to carry on with you anymore about this. This has been a battle. It's a feeling of battling, someone who doesn't really play fairly. You're not going to win because of the tactics they're using. Now, I'm not sure, and I don't believe that this is your person, because I think your person has a lot of sincere love for you, but there has been a battle going on. And again, this could be with the family, the extended family, right? This Five of Swords, and you're just like, look, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. Either you're going to go with me, we're going to make this relationship work the way we both want it to work, in a balanced way. If you want me, this is what you'll do. And it starts to feel more and more to me like an extended family or a society pressure. As far as they're concerned, you're like, look, no, I'm not going to engage in this. And Prince of Swords, which is the same as Knight of Swords, comes in and says, look, if we have to cut the ties that are holding us back, then we have to cut the ties. Because Prince of Swords talks about cutting the ties to anything that is an obstacle, to any energy or people or places or things. Cutting the ties that bind us to things that are actually keeping us from our best future, keeping us from our progress, keeping us from our growth, right? With the Page of Swords, we look at sort of just being confident and not allowing people's energy to sort of dissuade you or make you pessimistic. Here with Prince of Swords, next level up, we're talking about actually cutting ties with these people, saying, look, if this is how it's going to be, if it's going to continue to be this power struggle, then I'd rather cut it. Then we should just go off on our own. So this feels, again, very much like you are stuck with someone who may be very much influenced by family. They may have a large responsibility or feel like they are indebted, or, the family maybe even has authority over their decision-making about the way things go. There's definitely money that's tied up into it. But nevertheless, there's strong love here. You're fed up, of course, right? So for you, you've got a lot of swords, but the Two of Cups is there, and it definitely lets me know that you love this person. You know that you guys can be happy. You have tens across the board, 10, 10, 10. So you have certainly found each other, and you can be happy together, and you don't need this pressure, right? If there is outside pressure, you don't need it. The best thing you guys can do is to break free from that, break free from the chains of this old way of thinking, this restrictive idea of the way things should be, and come together, come together to make this decision, come together to move forward. There is a lot of love here, and your person certainly loves you very much. And I think they're willing to do what is necessary to keep you and make you happy. At the end of the day, I think they're going to choose you over anyone else or over family or any other responsibility they feel like they need to, be beholden to, rather, right? Let's go ahead and pull out 2 angel messages for you. Then I'm going to leave it. This is a strong reading, Aquarius, for some of you who are going through something quite specific. And, don't worry about the money, because the money will still be there. Together, you guys will still be extremely successful. I think the question here is, will you allow other people to dictate your life or not? You deserve love, absolutely. And wedding. Well, there you go. So this is about a wedding, certainly about maybe the way the wedding is supposed to happen. You deserve love. And you guys both deserve to have your love the way you want it. So this certainly could be about getting married. You may not be ready. They may be like, look, if you're not ready, that's fine, Let's wait. It could be that issue as well. At the end of the day, I think, Aquarius, you're the one who really holds the power here, because just because your person loves you so much, and at the end of the day, they're not willing to lose you just because of tradition. You know what I mean? I don't think they're willing to lose what they have with you just because of tradition or what is expected of them. And I think that at the end of the day, what you're asking for, what you're desiring, which is a balanced union here, is not too much to ask, right? Certainly breaking away from that 8 of Swords toxic way and restricted way of thinking is something that's necessary anyway. And I think in this way, you're both going to be very good for each other. It's a strong reading, interesting reading. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it. Aquarius, this is March 15th to the 22nd. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share all of that good stuff. Help me grow my channel. Help me grow my subscriber base, all of that helps me to stay here and to do this. This is what I do for a living. I just work on this channel and providing you the best readings that I can provide you. But for right now, Aquarius, have a wonderful week. I'm going to check you out next week for your love outlook. Bye-bye now.